صلوات. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. صلوات. الفاتحة. صلوات. حسين الغريب الغريب الحسين حسين الشهيد شهيد الحسين حسين الغريب الغريب الحسين حسين الشهيد شهيد الحسين. Salams on the head of my Mullah Hussain. Salams on the lips of my blessed Hussain. For days in the desert your body remained, with thousands of arrows your shroud they became. And on Arba'in, where the millions will pray, the grief and the mourning for you, Ya Hussein. Hussein al-Gharib al-Gharib al-Hussein Hussein al-Shahid شهيد الحسين. دعائی دعائی خدا را دعائی، یہ داشت بلا میں ہے کیسی تباہی، بہایا ہے کس نے یہ خون محمد، قیامت یہ دائی ہے کس نے الہی، جوانوں بزرگوں مارا گیا ہے، شہیدوں میں شامل ہے ننا سپاہی حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین حسین شہید شہید الحسین. The cries of the children thirsty for water, the duty was sent to Abbas our Savior. The Lion of God could be seen riding faster to reach Al-Furat and to please his Sakinah. But how does he fall from the horse with no hands? The flag of Islam no longer in his hands. Husain al-Gharib al-Gharib al-Husain Husain al-Shahid شہید الحسین. کبھی دل میں دیتے وہ ماں کو صدائے، کبھی رو کے کہتی کہ بابا کہاں ہو. شہیدوں کا نوحہ تھا اس کی زبان پر، ابد کس طرح اس کی غم کو بیان ہو. ہمیں بھی سعادت ہو نصرت کے حاصل، خدا را ظہور امام زمان ہو. الہی آمین. حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین حسین شہید شہید الحسین حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین حسین شہید شہید الحسین. صلوات.
پر محمد و آل محمد صلوات. Mu'minin, today's Ruhani Majlis is for the Marumeens of Mauji family, Marumeens of Ahadi family, and Kul Marumeens. You humbly requested to recite Surah Fatiha for Kul Marumeens. Al-Fatiha. Bismillah. We now request upon Brother Maysam Hussein Ali Muhammad Ali Sadamani to come and do his presentation on the education event. Please let's all welcome with an out Nari Salawat.
Mullah Sahib, my elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. I won't take much of your time. A hadith from our holy prophet, Prophet Mohammed, peace be upon him, said, "Seek knowledge from cradle to grave." The HIC education team are organizing an open day here at our center. It's on Sunday, the 6th of November 2022 from 10 till 4. The open day is aimed at students in years 11, 12, 13 and 14. We'll be inviting all Jamaats to attend this event. The open day has several things. So for example, we've got guest speakers coming from around the UK. We're also doing interview techniques for students applying for jobs, apprenticeships, and universities. This will inshallah be held by the Dean from Anglia Ruskin University. There will be help with exam preparation for our youngsters, help with writing and adjusting personal statements for university applications. This is led by a team of 12 teachers, of which they've got a collection of over 100 years of teaching experience and personal statement writing. We have several universities attending on the day around the UK. We'll have stalls that will be selling different items and a careers fair that will help our youngsters to guide their future. The HIC education team needs your help. If you have a career that you believe will benefit the next generation, that will inspire them, then we need you. You don't have to have a degree from uni to represent your career. As long as you enjoy it and believe you can influence a youngster to follow in your footsteps to excel their future, then sign up. It's open to all. We want as many brothers and sisters to be energetic about their roles that has a positive impact upon all communities. If you have a business and would like to set up a stall, then we invite you to come along as well. We would invite anyone who would like to volunteer as well. The more we have, the better experience it is for our youngsters. The Secretariat team will be sending out a message tomorrow with an email address that will allow you to register. Or if you want, you're more than welcome to contact me. There has never been another Jamaat that has planned something like this. The HIC education team really want this to be the first of many. We want our Jamaat to be the leading light to helping youngsters with their future in all Jamaats. We also want it to be a huge success. Please do get involved, help, guide, and impact positively our youngsters to a path that will benefit them. Thank you for your time. Wassalam. Salwan.
ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Dear respected scholars, elders, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tonight we are gathered here to mourn the death of Lady Fatima Masuma of Qom. She was the daughter of the seventh Imam, Imam Musa al-Qadhim alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. and the sister of the eighth Imam, Imam Ali Ridha alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. She was a pious lady who dedicated her life to Islam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Due to her love and desire for knowledge, a hawza was built in her name. Many of our esteemed scholars go to this hawza to study. An example of her brilliant knowledge and piety is when some Shia pilgrims came to the house of our seventh Imam, Imam Musa al-Qadim alayhi salam. They asked some questions. The Imam was away, however, so his family said that the questions would be answered on their way back from the pilgrimage. When the pilgrims came back, the answers were given to them. They were satisfied with them. However, they did not know that the Imam's 6-year-old daughter had written them. This shows Lady Fatima Masuma's deep connection to Islam. Every year, thousands of people come to the shrines to pay their respects to this holy lady. Imam Ali Ridha alayhi salam has said, "Whoever visits Masuma in Qum is like the one who has visited me." This shows the power of the ziyarat of Lady Masuma in Qum. She was going to see her brother in Mashhad. Along the way, the caravan she was traveling with was attacked, and some were killed. This event is often compared to that which took place after Karbala, when the family of Imam Husaini alayhi salam and Lady Zainab were put through hardships. Lady Masuma Qum fell ill at the holy city of Qum, and the Shia of the city tried to help her. However, she was violently ill and passed away in 201 after Hijrah. We should try to follow her path and take as many opportunities to learn as we can when we can. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا اللهم صل على محمد واللعنة الدائمة الباقية على أعدائهم أجمعين أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وضرب الله مثلا للذين آمنوا امرأة فرعون إذ قالت رب ابن لي عندك بيتا في الجنة ونجني من فرعون وعمله ونجني من القوم الظالمين آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد. My dear elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let us remember all our marhumin, gift them one Surah Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Recite salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa. Before I proceed with the discussion that I want to have, just 2 points. And this is just to encourage all the members. The first point is, of course, tomorrow we have the annual general meeting of our Jama'at, and I would recommend all the members, those who are eligible to attend, to make a point of attending the meeting. I look at it from a very different point of view, that I consider the presence in the annual general meeting as your contribution towards keeping this community to be vibrant and to be alive. It is important to understand from that manner, if at all during the course of the meeting you do come across something which you feel is not right, and you try to point this out, it will be your contribution to ensure that the community is moving in the right way. So I would suggest, request and recommend those who are present here and maybe those who are listening on the YouTube to please make a point of attending the AGM tomorrow. Number 2 is, we just heard from what the head of the Education Committee, Masuma, had talked about, that grand program on 6th of November. And again, this is an opportunity that we as a community get together and assist in any way, in any manner that we can, in order to make this program to be successful. Look at it from a positive point and say, this is how I can contribute. If I can come and serve tea on that day, that is your contribution. If I can come and help in organizing, in arranging, that is your contribution. But if the whole community gets together, alhamdulillah, that will show that we are moving in the right direction. Recite salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. One loud salawat again, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ajil. In Surah Tahrim, 66th Surah in the Holy Quran, Allah Azza wa Jal presents 2 examples. One example is for those who do not believe. And the other example is that of those who believe. This is verse number 10 and verse number 11 of Surah At-Tahrim, 66th Surah in the Holy Quran. So let's go to the first one, where Allah Azza wa Jal gives example of those who do not believe. For them, which example is there? Interestingly, both the examples given are of women. When Allah wants to give example of those who do not believe, He gives example of women. And it's not one, but 2. And when Allah Azza wa Jal wants to give example of those who believe, again He gives example of 2 women. The first example of those who do not believe, Allah Azza wa Jal says, ضرب الله مثلا للذين كفروا امرأة نوح وامرأة لوط. I want especially the children, the young people to understand here. Okay? Allah has set forth example. Allah has set forth example for those who disbelieve, for those who are faithless. The wife of Nuh and the wife of Nabi Lut. Wife of Nabi Nuh and wife of Nabi Lut are example for those who are faithless. Allah Azza wa Jal says, كانتا تحت عبدين من عبادنا الصالحين. These two women, wife of Nuh and wife of Lut, were under our righteous servants, but they both, wife of Nuh betrayed Nabi Nuh, wife of Lut betrayed Nabi Lut. Okay? Now, Allah Azza wa Jal then moves ahead and says, فَخَانَتَاهُمَا, that is both of them betrayed, فَلَمْ يُغْنِينَا عَنْهُمَا مِنَ اللَّهِ شَيْئًا. Allah says, their relationship with these prophets did not help them in any way at all. We have example of royal family, the queen passing away, and after that whatever has happened, and the newspapers are talking about who is going to be given the lower rank of royalty and those who are going to be in the higher rank. And this is all because of the relations that they have. Allah says, there was wife of Nabi Nuh, there was wife of Nabi Lut, they were wives of the prophets, yet their relationship with these prophets did not benefit them in any way. What does Allah say? وَقِيلَ دُخُلَ النَّارِ مَعَ الدَّاخِلِينَ. Because of their betrayal, both of these women were told, enter into the fire together with those who will enter in the fire. Question is, how did they betray the wife of Nuh? How did she betray Nabi Nuh? Wife of Lut, how did she betray Nabi Lut? And the answer to that is that they were not unchaste. Okay? It's not question of their chastity, no. They betrayed by revealing the secrets of the house to the enemies of these two prophets. They revealed the secrets, whatever was within the house and whatever was happening, they went and told the enemies of Prophet Nuh and they told the enemies of Prophet Lut. Allah Azza wa Jal has given example of these two women that this was their conduct. And because of this conduct, they will go into the fire of hell. Okay. Now we come to the example where Allah gives example again of a woman who is example for believers. وَضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِمْرَأَةَ فِرْعَوْنَ. Allah sets forth example for the believers, the wife of Fir'aun. Was Fir'aun a good person or a bad person? Ali Raza. He was a bad person. What did Fir'aun declare himself, Ali? He declared not only as king of Egypt, but he declared himself as God, isn't it? He used to tell the people, worship me. I am your God. Ana rabbukumul a'la. I am your high Lord. This is what he used to tell the people. In that environment, Pharaoh had a wife whose name was Asiya. And Allah gives example for believers like you and me. The example of Asiya, wife of Pharaoh. What does Allah say? إِذْ قَالَتْ رَبِّ ابْنِ لِي عِنْدَكَ بَيْتًا فِي الْجَنَّةِ. O Allah, build for me near you a house in Jannah, in paradise. وَنَجِّنِي مِنْ فِرْعَوْنَ وَعَمَلِهِ وَنَجِّنِي مِنْ قَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. She asks for one thing which is positive, and she asks for another thing which is to protect her and to save her from the punishment of Allah by saying what? And save me from Pharaoh and his deeds, and save me from this community of Zalimin. If I were to ask you, who was living in a pure and righteous environment, you will tell me that it was wife of Nuh and wife of Lut, because they were wives of two great prophets. And if I were to ask you who was living in corrupt environment, then you will tell me it was wife of Pharaoh, where everything around was, that everything was pointed towards or related to or connected to Pharaoh. But the difference in these women was, of course, the other women about whom Allah talks as the second example is about Bibi Maryam. But if you look at this, you will find that in the environment where we would say there would be righteousness, there would be belief in Allah Azza wa Jal, there would be those people who would be following the orders of Allah Azza wa Jal. In that environment came out women who are examples for the disbelievers. And in that environment where there was corruption, disobedience to Allah, came out a woman who was becomes an example for the believers. We have gathered here this evening, and your presence this evening in this ceremony, in this gathering, in this commemoration, is an honor that you show for a great lady who is known by the famous name of Masuma Qum. We want to talk about her. Ali has already talked about 2 points I wanted to say, but I will talk about it inshallah for us to understand. When we talk about ladies, we look at Masuma Qum. And this is, I am addressing specially to the ladies, for them to understand that today, if Masuma Qum has this high status, which I will talk about, if she has high status, what are the qualities that Masuma Qum had that has made her to reach to this high status? She is a role model for men as well as women. And my proof is Quran. Allah does not say that the example for the believing women is wife of Pharaoh. No. He says the example for the believers is the wife of Pharaoh. What did she have? That she has become so great that as long as there is Quran, there is mention of the wife of Fir'aun. Her example, that in belief, when a person brings Iman, Allah Azza wa Jal has already told us in the Holy Quran, not at one place, several places, that I am going to test you for you saying that I believe in Allah Azza wa Jal. I am going to test you. And here was test of Asiya. She has silently believed in the message of Nabi Musa. She does not show openly that she believes in the message of Nabi Musa. She does not show that she believes La ilaha illallah. She is doing everything secretly. But once Fir'aun comes to be aware that this is the Iman and this is the faith of my wife, he starts to try and convince her in order to bring her near and return to as the people of Egypt were believing. Asiya does not agree. It comes to a stage. Those of you who know the story, know this. A reminder, those who do not know, understand that it comes to a stage when Asiya is put on the ground, is laid on the ground, and her hands and her feet are tied, and a very heavy stone is kept on her chest in order to torture her, trouble her, for her to face those difficult moments such that Fir'aun thinks that maybe she will surrender and she will say, I do not believe in God of Musa. Despite going through all those difficult moments, what is her dua? Allah, I don't even want to live in this world. Build for me a house near you in Jannah. And not only that, I want to go away from this environment. I want to go away from Fir'aun and his deeds. I want to go away from this environment. My dear elders, brothers and sisters, think. A mu'min, a believer, does not seek the environment where his iman and his faith is going to be corrupted. He does not seek that environment. Rather, he refrains from that environment. If we understand this point, let me come down to this great lady. Our seventh Imam, Imam Musa al-Kadhim, salawatullah wa salamuhu alayh. Allahumma salli ala. Had 37 children. History mentions that 19 of them were women. 18 sons. This is Nabi Musa, Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam. And after the martyrdom of Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam and after the martyrdom of Imam Ali Rida alayhi salam, the children of Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam and the children of Imam Ali Rida alayhi salam went far and wide. And today if you go to North Africa, you will find maybe the signs to show that the children of Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam had come over here. Many parts of Africa you will find that. So out of these women or out of these girls, there were 4 girls whom Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam had named them Fatima. One was known as Fatima Kubra, which is whom we call as Masuma. The other one is called Fatima al-Wusta. That is she is maybe after Bibi Masuma Wusta meaning middle. She is the one who is buried in Isfahan, and there is a haram there which is called Sitti Fatima in Isfahan. There was third one who is called Fatima as-Sughra. She is buried in Azerbaijan, and there is a beautiful dome over her shrine in Azerbaijan. And then there is another one who is called Fatima al-Ukhra. She is also buried in Iran, in Rasht. Out of these four, Masuma of course is famous, and she is known to have reached to this high stage because of her piety, because of her knowledge, and because of the way she lived her life. 28 years only 28 years. But it had a great influence over people of Medina and those of her relatives. So, let's go to the first as to how she is praised. How did the name Masuma come about? This name was given to her by her brother, our eighth Imam, Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Rida, salawatullah wa salamuhu alayh. Man zara al-ma'asuma bikum kaman zarani. This is hadith of our eighth Imam. Whosoever visits Ma'asuma. And this name Masuma means Bibi Fatima binti Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam. Whoever visits her, meaning visits her grave, it is as if, eighth Imam says, has visited me. So the name Masuma comes. Okay? I'm sure the next point that I'm going to say, my elders are aware, but this is for the children. One of the beautiful titles of Masuma is Karimatu Ahlul Bayt. Karima means generous. The generous one of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. There was a great alim by the name of Sayyid Mahmud Mar'ashi Najafi, father of marhum Ayatullah Sayyid Bahauddin Mar'ashi Najafi. Sayyid Mahmud Mar'ashi did an amal, an act for 40 days in order to find out the grave of Bibi Fatima Zahra alayha salam. When he finished those 40 days of that amal, he went to sleep. When he went to sleep on that 40th day, in his dream he saw our fifth Imam and our sixth Imam. And they asked him, or one of them asked him, "What are you doing?" He said, "I want to know where is the grave of your grandmother, Bibi Fatima Zahra alayha salam." The reply was, "Alayka bi karimati ahlil bayt." For you, the generous one of Ahlul Bayt is enough. Sayyid Mahmud Mar'ashi Najafi did not understand. So he asked, "But where is it?" And it is at that time that one of the Imams told him, "You don't need to find the grave of Bibi Fatima Zahra alayha salam." And according to some historians, it is mentioned that Imam said, Allah does not want the grave of Bibi Fatima Zahra alayhi salam to be known So if you want to benefit, go and visit the haram or the grave of Masuma, and that is her title, Karimatu Ahlul Bayt. Who are those who are giving these titles to her? Not ordinary people like us. One is given by 8 Imam, the other is given by either the 5th or the 6th Imam. But understand that if a person is given the position to intercede on behalf of the believers, how high is her position? 6th Imam, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq, salawatullah wa salamuhu alayh, says in one of the tradition that there will pass away in Qum a lady from my descendants. My dear elders, brothers, sisters, children, our 6th Imam passed away in the year 148 after Hijrah. Masuma was born in the year 173 after Hijrah. That is 25 years after the martyrdom of 6th Imam. But before his martyrdom, the 6th Imam said that there will be a lady who will pass away in Qum from my descendants, known as Fatima, by whose intercession, shafa'at, our Shi'as will enter heaven. This position is given to the Prophet. This position of shafa'at is given to the A'immah after the Prophet, that is the successors of the Holy Prophet. But this position is also given to Masuma. Let me tell you one story. There was one servant. Servant, when I say, we use the word khadim. Recite salawat, please. Sometimes you have to tell stories so people wake up. Okay? So listen to this story. It is interesting. I want to explain towards one important point. The person who narrates this story is an alim by the name of Sheikh Mohamed al-Qummi. He writes in one of his books, he says that in the haram of Imam Rida alayhi salam, and I'm sure there are many who know over here that actually professional people who have good career, doctors, engineers, holding high position, are actually fighting for a place to serve in the haram of Imam Rida alayhi salam and in the haram of Masuma Qum. You just can't go there and say, okay, I'm going to stand. No. When you enter into the haram, for example, there will be people who will be collecting your shoes. And they will keep the shoes in a place and they will give you a disc and say, when you return, give it to us, we'll give you back your shoes. If you ask him, who are you? He will tell you, my profession is a doctor. But I'm here to serve Imam Rida alayhi salam and the Zawar of Imam Rida alayhi salam and Zawar of Masuma Qum. So there was one khadim, one servant who used to work in the haram of Imam Rida alayhi salam. Poor person, he came to a stage that there was a sickness that afflicted him. And as a result of that sickness, the toes or the fingers of or toes of his legs used to turn black. And he had terrible pain. The doctors finally decided that he needs to be operated and his legs have to be amputated so that disease does not spread in the rest of the body. Agreed? The day of operation, surgery was agreed. He said, now that it has been decided, let me pass one night, the last night, before my legs are amputated, in the haram of Masuma Qum. Remember, at that time, the haram of Masuma Qum used to be closed. There was a time when it used to be closed and then it would be opened. He passed that night alone in the... He is sitting near the shrine and he is praying to Allah Azza wa Jal. Oh Allah, either give me relief from this sickness or give me death. I cannot bear this pain anymore. Ya Allah. And in that crying and weeping, he went to sleep. In his dream, he sees a lady. And that lady comes. What is your problem? He says, this is my problem. I have come to cure you, the lady says. Who are you? This person is asking in dream, who are you? You do not know me, who I am, while you are my servant? That is, Bibi Masuma Qum comes. What does she do? My sisters, listen to this. If you want to understand the importance of hijab, that you cover yourself fully so that your body is not seen by the others, that is a matter of honor for you. Not degradation, it is a matter of honor for you when you cover yourself properly. What does Masuma Qum do? She takes her abba or that chadar that she was wearing, and then she rubs it over the body of this khadim. This is all in the dream he's seeing. And after that, the dream ends, and when he wakes up, it is time of sahar, it is time of nearing Fajr. When this man stands up and starts shouting, open the doors, open the doors, Bibi has given me shifa. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa. I know it is not very easy for everyone to accept this and say this is dream or something like that. But there are several points that I want to say, and out of that one point is, this happened many years ago. And during that time, when the ulama used to note down, there were two things. Number one is that the ulama used to research and they would ask and confirm before they would put it. One. Number two, people would just not make stories out of this in order to raise up the status of Bibi Masuma Qum. The fact is, and there are many, including myself, I'm not going to tell you how I benefited from visiting, not today because it will take more time, but I have experienced also of my wishes being fulfilled in the haram of Masuma Qum and happening immediately. This is status of Masuma Qum. Allah Azza wa Jal has given her status. What does her nephew, our ninth Imam, Imam Muhammad Taqi, salawatullah wa salamuhu alayhi, Man zara ammati fi Qum walahul jannah. Whoever visits my aunt in Qum, that is Bibi Masuma Qum, falahul jannah, for him there is paradise. Of course, we go there, we try to understand, and we try to know more about her. And that is why it is recommended that yes, you go for ziyarat of A'imma Tahirin alayhimus salam and these sacred personalities. When you go there, there are many things that an individual can learn when he goes to visit these places. There are people, I am one of them, who have interest in the history about how this took place, or how the tomb was built, and what happened, how it was developed. But the biggest proof about the status of Masuma Qom is the hawza around Qom. The hawza that is in Mashhad is not as huge as the hawza that is in Qom. Not saying that the status of Astaghfirullah Imam Rida alayhi salam is lower. No, Imam is appointed by Allah Azza wa Jal. But the status of Qom is known around this. Marhum Ayatullah Najafi Mar'ashi Rahmatullah alayh says he died 1990. So 32 years ago he died. Okay? He died in month of July. In month of March, I had opportunity to meet him, sit with him and talk with him. 1990, he passed away. But he mentions that for 60 years, I had this honor that whenever the gates of the Haram of Masuma Qom was opened, I was the first one to go and recite her ziyarah. Ayatollah Najafi Mar'ashi was not any ordinary alim. During the time when Marhum Ayatollah Khui had that status of marja, in line was Ayatollah Najafi Mar'ashi. In line was Marhum Ayatollah Gul Paigani. These were all known as those of that caliber. And he would go for the haram to the haram of Masuma Qom. And every day, 60 years. Imagine. If we understand the ma'rifah of this great lady, there are many lessons to learn from there. She is a role model for us men. We take this, that it is because of her piety that she has status. We are not going to gain any status in front of Allah Azza wa Jal unless and until we have that piety in us. The rest of the things are not going to work, let me tell you. Piety is important. And for the ladies, it is there to understand that, as Ali mentioned in his lecture, that she was only 6 years old when those people who had come to visit our 7th Imam and did not find 7th Imam because Imam had gone on a journey and they had left questions there to be answered. And when they said, we are going to come on this day, it was Masuma Qom herself that she answered. They took the answers, and whilst they were returning, they met Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam. And they told Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam, this is what happened. And these are the answers that your daughter has written. Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam read the answer. After reading the answers, our 7th Imam 3 times recited or said, Fidaha abuha, fidaha abuha, fidaha abuha. Her father is proud of her for the way she answered those questions according to Sharia. That's gaining knowledge and moving forward. Love between brother and sister In history, there are many examples, but there are two which we will never forget. One is the love between Imam Rida alayhi salam and Masuma. Imam Rida alayhi salam was called to Marv, and when he went there, after that Imam Rida alayhi salam wrote a letter to his sister. And it is at that time that Masuma decided that we want to go to visit our brother. She, together with her brothers. Only one thing to understand is that the mother of Imam Rida and mother of Bibi Masuma was only one, Najma Khatun, it was her name. The other brothers, their mothers were different, but they all decided to go to see Imam Rida alayhi salam. And history mentions that when they reached Sawa, they were attacked by the enemies of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And Masuma lost many of her brothers and her nephews. It is said at that time that Masuma became sick, became ill. The city or the land or the town of Sawa was not very far from Qum. And when the people of Qum got the news that the sister of Imam Rida alayhi salam is in Sawa and she is sick, they went to visit her and to convince her to come to Qum. And when she came to Qum, now there is a difference of opinion whether Imam Rida alayhi salam became or was martyred first, or the death of Masuma came first. But in one history book it is written that when the people of Qum came to take Masuma, they were all wearing black clothes, as if to show that they were mourning the martyrdom of Imam Ali Rida alayhi salam. Azadar, Masuma is brought to Qum and she stays there and she is ill and she is sick. And according to history, after 17 days of stay in Qum, she passed away from this world. Masuma, you did not have any one of your relatives near you in Qum. But it is mentioned that when her body was prepared and it was said as to who is going to lower her into the grave, a very pious old man was selected that he would take the body of Masuma and lay it in grave. History mentions that as it was about to take place, they saw two people riding on the horse. Their faces covered. They came and they said, "We are the ones who are going to bury our relative and put her in the grave. We do not know who it was, but they buried her and they returned." And this was love of Masuma for her brother Imam Rida alayhi salam. She left Medina with the intention to go and visit her brother, but she came across this and her death came at this place. आज़ादारों, दूसरा भाई और बहन जिसका रिश्ता था वो थे इमाम हुसैन अलैहिस्सलाम और बीबी ज़ैनब अलैहिस्सलाम। और जब इमाम हुसैन अलैहिस्सलाम ने इमाम हुसैन अलैहिस्सलाम ने इरादा किया मदीना छोड़ने के लिए, उस वक्त بی بی زینب نے کہا اے بھائی میں تمہارے ساتھ آؤں گی. عبداللہ نے اجازت دے دی. زینب اور حسین ساتھ ساتھ رہے. عزادارو یاد کرو وہ آخری وقت جب امام آئے الوداع کرنے کے لیے تو اس وقت امام نے کہا تھا اے بہن زینب لا تنسینی فی نافلۃ اللیل. اے بہن زینب جب تم نماز شب کے لیے اٹھنا تو تمہارے بھائی کو یاد کرنا. عزادارو کربلا کا واقعہ ہو گیا. مولا حسین شہید ہو گئے. اب زینب آئی اپنے بھائی کی لاش کے پاس. بس عزادارو ایک مرتبہ زینب نے جب امام حسین کی پامال لاش دیکھی ہاتھ بلند کیے آسمان کی طرف اللہم تقبل منا هذا القرب. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. ماتم حسين يا حسين يا حسين.
یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین. مل کے پڑھیں یا حسین یا. کیا حال یہ امت نے کیا حال یہ امت نے زہرا کا بنایا ہے. پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے تربت بھی شکستہ ہے. پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے تربت بھی شکستہ ہے. پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے تربت بھی شکستہ ہے. مل کے پڑھیں ماشاءاللہ. پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے تربت بھی ہے. معصوم قم تیرے بھائی سے دعا لینے پرسا تیری دادی کا آتے ہیں تجھے دینے. بی بی تیرا روضہ بھی تصویر بقیہ ہے. پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے تربت بھی شکستہ ہے. پہلو بھی شکستہ تربت بھی شکستہ ہے. مرہم تیرے زخموں کا بی بی نہ ملا اب تک. اولاد امیہ کی باقی ہے جفا اب تک. رونے پہ بھی پہرا تھا تربت پہ بھی پہرا ہے. پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے تربت بھی شکستہ ہے. پہلو بھی تربت بھی شکستہ ہے. خاتون کوئی غم سے یوں چور نہیں دیکھی, ایسی کوئی دنیا میں مستور نہیں دیکھی. 18 برس میں ہی 18 برس میں ہی لگتی جو ضعیفہ ہے, پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے, تربت بھی شکستہ ہے, پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے, تربت ہے. دو ایسے جنازے ہیں, دو ایسے جنازے ہیں تاریکی میں جو اٹھے, بس گھر کے ہی لوگوں نے دونوں کو دیے کاندھے. ایک فاطمہ زہرا ہے, ایک فاطمہ زہرا ہے, ایک بالی سکینہ ہے, پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے, تربت بھی شکستہ ہے, پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے, پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے, تربت ہے. مہدی سے کوئی پوچھے کیا اس پہ گزرتی ہے, آواز بقیہ سے جب رونے کی آتی ہے, آنکھوں سے لہو رو کر وہ بھی یہی کہتا ہے, پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے, تربت بھی شکستہ ہے, پہلو بھی تربت بھی شکستہ ہے. معصوم قم تیرے بھائی سے دعا لینے, پرسا تیری دادی کا آتے ہیں تجھے دینے. بی بی تیرا روضہ بھی تصویر بقیہ ہے, پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے, تربت بھی شکستہ ہے, پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے, تربت بھی شکستہ ہے, پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے, تربت بھی شکستہ ہے. یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین, ماشاء سب پڑھو. یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین, بسم اللہ. یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین. اے میرے بھائی رضا, اے غریب الغربا, اے میرے بھائی رضا, اے میرے بھائی رضا, اے غریب الغربا, اے میرے بھائی رضا, اے میرے بھائی, اے غریب الغربا, اے میرے بھائی رضا. سب پڑھو. اے میرے بھائی رضا, غریب الغربا, اے میرے بھائی رضا, اے میرے بھائی رضا اے غریب الغربا اے میرے بھائی تیرا دیدار نہیں بھائی قسمت میں میری دے ہواؤں کو ذرا حکم ہے میرے علی سن لوں آواز تیری سن لوں آواز تیری دل بہل جائے میرا اے میرے بھائی رضا اے میرے بھائی رضا اے غریب الغربا ماشاءاللہ بلند آواز سے اے میرے بھائی رضا اے غریب الغربا اے میرے بھائی کہ دیکھنے آئی ہوں میں کم سے صورت تیری اے غریب الغربا دیکھ غربت میری کوئی بتلاتا نہیں کوئی بتلاتا نہیں مجھ کو مشہد کا پتہ اے میرے بھائی رضا اے میرے بھائی رضا اے غریب الغربا اے میرے رضا اے میرے بھائی رضا اے غریب الغربا مجھ پہ جو بیت گئے وہ علم کچھ بھی نہیں سامنے زینب کے میرے غم کچھ بھی نہیں میں نہ بازار گئی میں نہ بازار گئی نہ چھنی میری ردا اے میرے بھائی رضا اے میرے بھائی رضا اے غریب الغربا اے رضا اے میرے بھائی رضا اے غریب الغربا ہوں یتیماں لیکن وہ یتیماں تو نہیں قیدی بابا کی قسم میں سکینہ تو نہیں جس کے گوہر بھی چھنے جس کے گوہر بھی چھنے جس کا دامن بھی جلا اے میرے بھائی رضا اے میرے بھائی رضا اے غریب الغربا اے یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ ماشاءاللہ بلند آواز سے یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ ہے امت نے بہت آپ کو تڑ پایا ہے بی بی ہر حق کے لیے آپ کو ترسایا ہے بی بی غاصب نے جو دربار میں بلوایا ہے بی بی اس دکھ سے لرزنے لگا خود عرش خدا کا یا فاطمہ زہرا ہے یا فاطمہ زہرا یا فاطمہ زہرا या फातिमा ज़हरा या फातिमा है माँ खाना खिलाती है तो फिर खाते हैं बच्चे, जाती है जहाँ माँ वहीं आ जाते हैं बच्चे, बिन माँ के कभी चैन नहीं पाते हैं बच्चे, काम आता है बच्चों पे बहुत माँ का सहारा या फातिमा ज़हरा है या फातिमा ज़हरा या फातिमा ज़हरा या ज़हरा या फातिमा ज़हरा या शबीर की दुनिया में विलादत से भी पहले कहती थी ये ज़हरा के बहुत सहती हूँ सदमे, बच्चा ये मेरा कोख में बेचैन बहुत है, बच्चा मेरा कहता है कि अम्मा मैं हूँ प्यासा या फातिमा ज़हरा या फातिमा ज़हरा या आखिरी बार बुलंद आवाज से या फातिमा ज़हरा या फातिमा ज़हरा बर मोहम्मद व आलि मोहम्मद सलवात। अल-फातिहा। اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا نبي الله السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى السلام عليك يا حسين الشهيد بكربلاء السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين خصوصا سيدي أبا الفضل العباس ابن أمير المؤمنين ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي. السلام عليك يا مولانا يا صاحب الأسر والزمان سيدي الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك واجعلنا من أنصارك وأعوانك ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا تسكنه أرضك توعى
وتمته
فيها طويلا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.